Hello everybody, Pinstripe here. Welcome back to some Hogs of War. We've got mission 9 here for you, currently moving on to the village people. Now, as you saw from our roster of pigs, we have promoted our top one to that of a pyrotechnic. Now, that is the highest promotable level that you can promote a pig in that sort of gunner class. So that gives you 2 extra mortars, a flamethrower and an airburst added to your weapons, I guess. And this mission seems to really highlight the key importance, the main importance of bombardiers, gunners and pyrotechnics, those 3, because there's a massive height difference between you and the enemy. So we've got 3 pigs to start off with, all of which are in that gunner class. We've got 2 bombardiers and a pyrotechnic, and this is really where mortars are just going to rain down from every single direction. And if you already know the distance on like I'm going to call it the mortar scale from now on, just as a gauge to like that power bar basically. If you know the power bar range and where to put it, then you are going to hit those shots every single time. So for those of you who have followed this series so far, you will know that I dedicated mission 4 to explaining the mortars. So if you want information on that, I suggest you go check out mission 4. It seems to be the #1 question asked in Hogs of War as to how do I use the mortar, because it's pretty confusing to first time players. Now at the beginning of this match I'm positioning my heavy weapons guys, one at the far side of the map just to rain shells down on that higher position, and the other one to get a bit closer, try and do a bit more damage. He's going to come across a box full of cluster bombs that do come in very handy. They also have a shelter which pigs are allowed to jump into if you've never played this game before. That little box there that obviously shelters them, but they can't launch anything from it unless they're a higher up class that can launch like an airstrike from inside it. So it's taking a bit of damage there, and I will send up one of my spies in a minute. But as I said, the enemy have 2 bombardiers and a pyrotechnic, so their main thought is just to rain down shells as much as possible. But you know, it's a 3v5 situation here, so we have the upper hand already. And as you can also see on the far side of the map in the bottom left hand corner, that red section on your map is actually a minefield. So it's pretty handy to have a sapper on your team, because when that class is selected, you get the visual bonus of being able to tell when you're moving the pig where the mines are. So that will make a bit more sense when that pig is selected and he has his turn. But for the moment I'm going to pickpocket to take away a couple of weapons from the other players, which basically tries to limit them as much as possible. So I go to all 3 and take one thing because I can use it 3 times. And then I think I use my TNT, which is probably the most amount of damage you can do as a spy, minus obviously being able to pickpocket as well. So I've got so many choices of things I could do. I could kill that one pig on the far right there who's got 44 health, but instead I just try and diminish the player that has the most health and go from there. I think as a kid playing this game, that's the one thing I never deeply thought about, is how I actually play this game. Now I know that's sort of a self-explanatory question, but I mean tactically, as in I'm looking for the best route, whereas people who have only played this game for 5 minutes just want to shoot some dudes in the face with a shotgun. So as you can see here, as well as I just explained, you get that visual representation of where the minefield is, where you can walk, where you can't, and it just gives you a route to actually make it to that little section, which I don't think I make it to. I think I have to like jump over once. Yeah, because it's still blocked off. I could carry on walking, but there didn't seem to be a route there. There probably is, but I just find it easier to jump over there using a mine. I do lose my go, but then when his turn comes around again, I get that extra medal. He then gets a jetpack, and I can go from there. So once again, even though I've got a spy directly next to him, he still wants to target my most valuable player, I guess. But luckily, the AI isn't that good with shooting mortars for the moment. It does get a bit harder as the game progresses, I suppose. So medic, pretty self-explanatory, just going to heal up some dudes and do a bit of damage, because when he is up close and I upgrade him to a surgeon, which will be his next level, he gets tranquilizer guns, which come in very handy because they can make players lose their turns, and that just allows you to inflict way more damage. This mission in particular is one of my favourites on this island, because the other 2 missions beforehand were a bit more heavy on the tactics and trying to find routes as to how to take out pillboxes, how to take down snipers, how to take down bombardiers who have a much higher position on the map than you are, and you're completely surrounded. So this one's quite meek in the fact that you have a simple goal that you have to kill these 3 dudes, and you have routes straight up to them, and you can be like, obviously right next to them, if you go in that little shelter, or if you get the cluster bombs and stay close to that mountain edge. So you could say that the enemy has an advantage, but I find that once each pig on your team has had 1 turn, and you can position them the way you want to, it's quite easy. Also, when comparing this game to Worms, in my eyes, I find that a lot of the single-player campaign Worms missions were more puzzle-based. You had to try and fix something while facing the enemy, whereas the only real thing you have to think about here is collecting those medals, which are sometimes out in the open, sometimes are protected by a minefield, and sometimes in like major steel containers, that sort of thing that you have to blow open with like TNT. So it does make you think, but it's more about shooting accuracy but yeah, basically just shooting dudes in the face, which is what most of us really want, I guess. So at the moment, the Germans are looking pretty damn beat, and this guy's going to slide right off the map, which if pigs do, they just explode as soon as they hit the side of the skybox, which I always find quite funny because they just burst into a million pieces of bacon. But the enemy team here, they are 2 pigs down, so we have the major advantage. Their pig has 29 health, so I really had to sit down and be like, I could shoot this dude directly in his face, we win, but we don't get the extra promotion point. So maybe I could skip my go and let the sapper then have his turn to get that promotion point, because that's what the single player camp, that is what Hogs of War is based off of, upgrading, being able to get more weapons, all that sort of stuff. It's the one little bit of reward system that you get in this game, so I figured I'll hide my spy and go from there. So here we have the added bonus of this mission, whereby if you don't complete the killing of all 3 pigs on the enemy team within a certain amount of turns, an extra pig will drop in. And as a kid, because I spent most of my time as a kid playing this game, it completely blew my mind. It was the first time I'd seen AI, or just an enemy team you're playing against, be able to bring in extra soldiers midway through a round. And for a turn-based game like this, it was just mind-boggling. Just a little thing of having to then take out another dude who has 120 health, who is another pyrotechnic. It was insane. But luckily, for those who like to explore the map, it gives you an extra jetpack right next to where the medal is, to then go and get that airstrike where I just landed. But then it puts my pig at a disadvantage because he is out on this tiny island. If he gets knocked off it, he might drown. So that kind of cancels out the medal that you've just captured or just taken, because you will lose a medal for not having all your pigs at the end of a round. So yeah, there's lots of factors that go into this match in particular. So currently, as a medic, my main concern is, of course, our engineer. As he is so exposed and he's shown to have such firepower, he's going to be targeted by the other guys, because, these pigs are scared of him. And it's kind of weird as well how that shows a bit of character on the AI's part as well, because they can see that he's had this airstrike, even though he is just a single engineer. They target him straight away. It's quite bonkers. Underneath the bridge as well, where the bridge used to be before I blew it up, you will find a little box containing Super TNT, which is one of the most powerful weapons in Hogs of War. It will do a maximum of 200 damage, which will easily take out the other pyrotechnic who has just died in one hit. So instead of doing what I did and use the airstrike on him, you could get the Super TNT. But it just comes with whichever route you prefer doing. It would have been quicker if I used the Super TNT and just jetpack to that, but I felt like doing something a bit different. Overall though, that is pretty much going to finish everything off here. We're going to take our bombardier and finish off the enemy. When you do of course play this mission, just keep in mind the positioning of your heavy weapons guys, being able to utilize everything around you from the boxes to the shelters, and yeah, have fun with it. So overall, that's going to wrap everything up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on this mission in particular in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. And we're going to use these promotion points to upgrade our engineer, who will be promoted to a saboteur, because he gets little things like the super shotgun that can shoot pigs across the map, which you will see in future missions. In the meantime though guys, I will catch you all later for the next one.